Hi, I'm Rishi. Welcome to my YouTube astrology channel. This is a great time to be in India right now. The general elections of 2019 have been announced, and the only discussion that seems to be taking place on TV channels and in every home is who will be the next Prime Minister of India. Well, I could tell you right now, but I'd rather analyze this question astrologically so I'm not accused of bias by anyone. Political astrology is never easy to do, but I'm going to attempt to do it anyway. I'm going to look at the horoscopes of the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, and the President of the Congress Party, Mr Rahul Gandhi, to try and understand who has a better chance of being the next Prime Minister of our great country. Let's try and understand Shri Narendra Modi's horoscope. The ascendant is Scorpio, which means that this horoscope is ruled by Mars. Mars is sitting in the ascendant. Mars is the Lagna Lord. So it is the planet which controls this entire horoscope and is the single most important planet of this horoscope. Now, Mars is a planet of great determination, great willpower, great dedication, great strength, great inner resolve. Mars is sitting along with Moon. Moon is the lord of the 9th house, which is the house of destiny. So Moon controls destiny. So the lord of destiny and the lord of the entire horoscope are sitting together in a very favorable space of the horoscope. That immediately tells you that this horoscope is strong and extremely powerful. But we are talking about the Prime Minister of the country, so that's something that we already know. Jupiter is another very favorable planet for this horoscope. Jupiter is placed in the 4th house of the chart. Now, Jupiter is lord of wealth and the lord of luck. But Jupiter has a certain quality. Whichever house it sits in, it tends to spoil that house. So Jupiter spoils the 4th house of this horoscope, which is related to the home environment, to the mother, to movable, immovable assets. The 4th house is the Sukhsthan of the horoscope. So such a person is not very comfortable at home, doesn't have a great home life, doesn't have a lot of property or movable or immovable assets. The mother of this horoscope doesn't benefit through this horoscope. And while Jupiter spoils the house it sits in, it benefits the houses it sees. And for this horoscope, Jupiter aspects the house of profession. It aspects the 10th house. The 10th house of the horoscope is the house of profession. Therefore, profession is supported and promoted very strongly by Jupiter. Venus and Saturn are placed in the 10th house. Saturn is a planet of hard work. It's a planet connected to the masses. It's a planet that doesn't know luxury and pleasure, but knows discipline and extreme effort. So such an individual will have the ability to work extremely hard and in a relentless manner to make a success of his career. Venus is also sitting in the 10th house. Now, Venus is a planet of great comfort and pleasure and aesthetics and beauty and art. So there's a very nice balance due to the presence of Venus and Saturn in this house. One makes the person work really hard all the time, and the other has the ability to bring grace and beauty into his efforts. The 10th house of this horoscope belongs to Sun, Surya. Sun is placed in the 11th house of the chart. The 11th house is considered the Labsthan. It's the house of gain and a very favorable place for the lord of profession to be placed in. Sun is sitting with an exalted Mercury. Mercury is the planet that controls communication. Mercury is a planet of Buddhi. It is known as Budh in Indian astrology. It is the planet of intelligence and wisdom and communication. So such a person will be known for his intelligence, for his brilliance, and for his great communication. A very interesting point and a very focal point of this reading. Sun and Mercury are sitting along with Ketu in the 11th house. Now, if you see the earlier videos that I have posted on Rahu and Ketu, these are two planets that do extremely well in the 11th house. Ketu is in the 11th house. It is extremely benefic for this horoscope, and it is sitting along with the lord of profession. So it is going to help profession, it's going to help career, and it's going to help the destiny of this individual in every way. Another very important point. As Ketu is sitting in the 11th house, Rahu is sitting in the 5th house of the horoscope. And sitting in the 5th house, it controls destiny and it aspects the lagna, the overall story of this chart. At any given point in time, there will be one planet that will have the greatest influence over the horoscope, and typically that tends to be the Mahadasha Lord. Now, the Mahadasha that Shri Modi is running right now is the Chandra Mahadasha. This was also the Mahadasha that he was running in 2014 when he first became the Prime Minister. At that point, he had the Mahadasha of Chandra, Moon, and the Antardasha of Rahu. Interestingly, in 2019, when the results of this election are announced, he will be running the Mahadasha of Chandra, Moon, and the Antardasha of Ketu. Now, Ketu is naturally considered a representative of Mars. We have seen that Mars is very powerful for this horoscope. We've also seen that Ketu, by its placement in the 11th house, is very benefic for this horoscope. The third point, Ketu is sitting 11th from the Dasha Lord. It's sitting in the 11th house from Moon, which is the Dasha Lord, so it is looking to favor the Dasha in whatever manner it can. My considered opinion is, Moon Ketu will be stronger for Shri Modi than Moon Rahu. Another point, if you look at the degrees of the horoscope, Moon is placed at 8 degrees 48 minutes, Ketu is placed at 5 degrees 12 minutes in this chart. So there's almost a degree conjunction between these two planets, which, as any astrologer will tell you, will cause for their nature to be more similar and will cause for them to work better with each other. So Ketu is functioning like Mars, Ketu is sitting 11th from the Dasha Lord, Ketu is sitting in the 11th house and looking to benefit the horoscope and the career and the profession of this individual in every way. Based on all of these factors, I can state with confidence that Moon Ketu will be better than Moon Rahu. Moon Rahu made Shri Narendra Modi the Prime Minister of India. Moon Ketu will increase his strength and increase his power. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of the number of seats that he will gain, but I can tell you that he will be more powerful and more significant in 2019 than he was in 2014. I want to leave you with one very important thought. The next Mahadasha that Shri Narendra Modi will be going through is the Mars Mahadasha. It's the major period of Mars, the planet that has given birth to him. This comes into effect from November 2021 and lasts till November 2028. I say this with complete conviction that his Mars major period will be much stronger than his Moon major period. So I see the best phase of his life starting from 2021 and running all the way till 2028. So not just will Shri Narendra Modi win this election, I'm reasonably certain he will win the next election as well. Till 2028, nobody can shake this man. That is my considered opinion based on the horoscope of Shri Modi himself. Of course, it is important to look at the horoscope of Rahul Gandhi at the same time to see how these two charts compare in strength against each other. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is born under the sign of Saturn. And interestingly, his Saturn is placed in its sign of debilitation. When your ascendant lord gets debilitated, particularly when it's a planet as powerful as Saturn, it's not a good sign astrologically at all. Your entire horoscope and your entire destiny gets compromised. Saturn is debilitated and placed in the 4th house of the horoscope. The 4th house is the Sukhsthan. It's the place of movable and immovable assets. It's the place of the mother. It's the home environment. Now, even though Saturn is debilitated, it is a friend of this horoscope. And it also has its own special character. Saturn benefits the house it sits in even when it is weak, if it is friendly for the horoscope. And if it is the lord of the ascendant, then no doubt it is extremely friendly for the horoscope. So Saturn is looking to help this horoscope, but does not have the ability to function freely and does not have any strength of its own. However, it gives a tremendous amount of support from home. It gives a tremendous amount of strength to the mother and from the mother. And it gives a lot of movable and immovable assets because Saturn in any case is a planet that is connected to land and property and the earth. Now, a debilitated Saturn is looking at the 10th house of the horoscope, which is the house of profession. So even though it is looking to help the chart, the fact of the matter is its gaze is debilitated. So it is not going to manage to help that chart very much. And if we look at the 10th house itself, we find that Jupiter is placed in the 10th house of Mr. Rahul Gandhi's horoscope. We've already discussed that Jupiter has a tendency to spoil the house it sits in, even if it is a friend of the horoscope. And in this case, in the case of Mr. Rahul Gandhi's chart, it is definitely not a friend of this chart because he is born under Saturn, and Saturn and Jupiter are inimical towards each other. So Jupiter is looking to harm this horoscope, and it is going to harm the house it sits in, and it is going to harm the houses it aspects. So definitely, Mr. Rahul Gandhi's career or his professional life is going to be hampered in some way. Jupiter does not allow for steadiness to develop in your career or in your professional life. There is no doubt in my mind that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is actually a reluctant politician because he still hasn't figured out who he is and what he'd like to do with his entire career. A very important factor in this horoscope is the role of Mercury. Now, Mercury is a planet which gives mixed results for a Saturn horoscope. It is Lord of the 9th house, which is the house of destiny. So it's looking to promote the destiny. But it is also Lord of the 6th house, which is the house of enemies and the house of competition. So such a person tends not to benefit through competition and tends to suffer at the hands of enemies. Tends to be surrounded by people who are actually not friends, even if they may be pretending to be so. Now this Mercury is sitting in the 5th house of Mr. Rahul Gandhi's horoscope. And the 5th house is the house of luck, education and children. By virtue of being Lord of Destiny, when Mercury sits in the 5th house, it makes this person destined to be lucky, in the sense that he gains luck through his destiny. It is his karma that is providing him the opportunities that he has received. But his luck will not come through effort. If he puts in effort, he will not be successful. He is going to be defeated by enemies in every competition. His competitors are going to gain an upper hand in any contest because it is not his destiny to succeed through competition. Now, if you look at the 10th house of this horoscope again, and I'm focusing only on those houses that are related to the career of the individual, the Lord of the 10th house is Venus. And Venus in this horoscope, while being the 10th Lord, is sitting in the 7th house. So it forms what is known as a Kendradipati dosh. It's a weakness or a flaw that develops in the horoscope that does not allow the career to be promoted in the manner that it should be promoted. So his career is weak as a result of Jupiter's placement over there, as a result of debilitated Saturn's aspect upon it, and as a result of the Lord of that house sitting in a very weak position in the entire horoscope. Moreover, Mercury is not going to allow him to succeed in any sort of a competition. It's going to cause for his enemies to gain strength over him, his competitors to defeat him in a contest, and that's really what this election is. It's a contest between different political parties, one of which is headed by Mr. Rahul Gandhi. We have discussed that the Dasha is a very important way of understanding the destiny of an individual. Through these elections, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going through the major period of Moon and the sub-period of Mercury. This sub-period of Mercury came in on the 1st of March 2019 and it's going to be there till 29th of July 2020. Mercury we've seen as a planet that's not going to allow him to succeed in competition. Mercury is a planet that's going to cause for him to be surrounded by people who are actually not his friends, who are pretending to be his friends, who are misleading him and misguiding him. Astrologically, unfortunately, for Mr. Rahul Gandhi and all his supporters, I do not believe that he has the ability to succeed in these elections at all. I think he is walking down the wrong path. He is racing down the wrong path. Convinced right now about the possibilities of success, but truthfully, very far from achieving the results that he's hoping for. I want to also mention that from the 29th of July 2020 till the early part of 2021, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going to be running the major period of Moon and the sub-period of Ketu. Ketu is positioned in the 8th house of this horoscope. The 8th house is not a particularly great space for Ketu to be placed in. Ketu is naturally a separative planet. It's a mokshkari graha. And the 8th house is not considered a very great space for it to be in. Some astrologers refer to the 8th house as the house of death. While I do not see it as the house of death, I see it as the house of great change and great learning. I feel that from July of 2020, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going to enter a process of great inner churning where he's going to work at discovering his true identity, his political identity, his personal identity, his social identity. And he's going to try and figure out how to stay relevant in the field of politics, independent of what happens to Sri Narendra Modi. I can tell you that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is not in a good phase astrologically. I started out looking to compare the horoscopes of Sri Narendra Modi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, but after going through the charts as I have to state that really it's a bit of a no contest. And Mr. Rahul Gandhi will have to do a lot of work to figure out how he needs to reinvent himself in the field of politics. Thank you for watching this video. I'd like to mention that I've tried to keep the astrological analysis simple and comprehensible even to those who are not professional astrologers. But of course, if you'd like to have a detailed discussion on these charts with me, I'd love to hear from you. Do write to me. I'd like to hear your comments, your observations about this video, as well as your thoughts about everything that I should do in the videos I'm planning up ahead.